Welcome back to Pips-N-Chits. My name is Jason, and today is part 2 of my unboxing series of Folklore, the Affliction, the Fall of the Spire expansion, published by Greenbrier Games. Now, in case if you missed the first video, go ahead and click the card in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and that will take you to my unboxing video of the core expansion itself. That includes all the standees, the cards, the rule book, all the maps, and a couple other little goodies inside there. But today's video is only going to deal with the creature crate, and I'm going to go ahead and lift it up because it's a big box. So here it is right here, still in the plastic, full of all the miniatures for the expansion, and we'll get to that in a second. But I just want to let you know, it's called the Creature Crate for a reason. It's going to hold 152 miniatures. That is, if you went all in on the previous Folklore, the Affliction, and its first expansion, I believe it was called Dark Tales. The one thing it's not going to hold, however, and I'm a little disappointed with this, is it's not going to hold the terrain expansion. There was an optional buy-in that you could have gotten with the original game that included a couple of sarcophagi, some tombstones, some different gated doors that kind of make the dungeons a little bit more come to life, a little bit more creepier and stuff like that. But unfortunately, this is just the creature box, and as the name says, we're just going to hold our characters, our monsters, and our ghosts. So no terrain. So without any further ado, let's head down to the table and take a look at what we've got in the plastic. Okay, as you can see, I have the box still in its plastic here on the table, and the first things that we see here are 4 drawers, all different colors. We have the core game, Dark Tales, which is the expansion that came with the original game. Now, Fall of the Spire, or Fall of the Dark Spire, that is, and Special Afflictions. So let's go ahead and cut into our plastic and take that off. And I might have to refocus the camera because this box is big enough, and I have the focus of the camera depth here pretty shallow right now. So let's cut a little bit more here and open. Let's get that glare off. As you can see on the side here, we have some really pretty artwork. Folklore, the Affliction, Creature Crate, which is all the miniature storage, and we have a really nice rendition painting of some of the denizens that you're going to see inside. I'll flip it over to the top side. Kind of the same picture, maybe a little bit more expanded here. And we'll flip it to the left-hand side here, same thing. Go ahead and turn it over though, because I did notice that on the back side we have quite a bit. This tells you exactly what this holds. It says contains 152 miniatures. Drawer number 1 is 36 miniatures. That's our characters and our creature. Drawer number 2, which is for the the expansion, the Dark Tower, I believe it is or Dark Tales, holds 40 miniatures. Drawer 3, which is the Fall of the Spire, or Dark Spire, 41 miniatures. And drawer number 4, the bottom drawer, is the Affliction, Ghosts, and Companions. So that contains 35 miniatures here, and here's kind of a little map of everything that you could see. And that's more or less if you had all the miniatures that you went all in from the Kickstarter versions. Now, it's my understanding that if you didn't go all in, or if you got the second printing of the game, that you might not get all the miniatures. There might be some blank spaces. I think there's 1 or 2 exclusive miniatures that only came with the first printing. I could be wrong, but if you fill out this crate and you notice that there's a couple of empty spaces, that could be why. So let's go ahead and start with the bottom drawer here, called Ghosts and Special Afflictions, and see what's in here. All right, so plastic, and this basically, which is this is really nice thick plastic here, really nice thick plastic cover. That's pretty nice, but we'll take that off for the glare. Here's a printout here showing all the different characters that would go, or miniatures that would go into this box. But you'll notice that a lot of it is empty right now. That's because I have not filled it yet. And these are obviously miniatures that came from the original game and the Dark Tales expansion. But you could see how they would be laid out here. But we have some new ghost characters here. These are going to be ghost characters of our new 6 character classes that are in this game. That is the expansion. We have some monsters here. Kind of looks like a Yeti of some sort. Kind of a, kind of an oversized, abominable, I don't know, snowman slash Yeti slash Bigfoot of a creature. That's pretty nice. And let's see here, what else do we have? We'll go through some of these here. I think the names are actually on the bottom of them. Yes, they are. So here, right here, this is a mercenary, looking pretty good with his sword up against his shoulder there. There's the mercenary. And we have some slightly larger ones here. Oops, that flew right out of my hand. Really nice detail on some of these. This is the wood mother, if you will. And just look at how she's posed there, kind of in a tree trunk of some sort, and her horns. One of the larger minis right there. And we have, oh, this one's really nice. We got like 3 figures here. And this one is called what? The, kind of hard to see. It's called the Impusse Coven. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it looks like 3 witches. One's holding a crystal ball. One is has a snake that's wrapped around her shoulders. And this one is pointing to her nose or her face and looking at, looks like a little compact mirror actually. And then, wow, look at this one. This one's really neat. This one is called the Doppelganger, but snake-looking creature with heads coming out of it, and its skin stretched up. And then lastly, let's take a look at this one, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next crate. So we have just a lich. That's really neat. Actually, pretty good here for being shipped. Most of this plastic here is pretty straight. But you might want to boil some water. The trick, if any of your models ever get bent, this plastic is soft enough. If you were to take some hot water and just dunk them in and hold it for a couple of seconds, you can kind of bend them back in place. And then, with a hair dryer on a cool setting, you can give them a quick blast and they'll actually dry and kind of re-firm back up. I've done that quite a few times with bent swords and staffs, and it works out pretty darn good. So anyway, we'll go ahead and tuck that back in, and we'll move on to the next drawer, see if there's anything in the fall of, well, this should be full of stuff because this is the fall of the Spire miniatures, and I'm having a little bit of a tough time getting that back in, so let's just take out this one. Okay, wow, this one is chock full of miniatures, and it looks like some of them kind of got moved around a little bit. Well, we have a crocodile here. Yeah, oops, wow, butterfingers today. Yeah, it looks like a couple of these might have fallen out of place. That's probably due to shipping or me just turning the box over as I just did. But we have a ton of different miniatures here. Let's look at this one here. This is a shadow weed. It's a flaming skull of some sort on standing in place with a bunch of chains on it. Am I reading that right? Oh no, it's a shadow wisp. My bad. I don't know why I saw weed. Let's see. Let's take a look. Ooh, a really nice looking ooze. Yep, sure enough, a ooze. Now, you know what's awesome about a lot of these models here, a lot of these miniatures, these are great stand-ins if you play Dungeons and Dragons, and as I mentioned yesterday, if you play like Pathfinder or anything like that as well. Look at this. This is a Naga, kind of a sea creature, sea snake creature. That's pretty nice. Like the colors on some of these. Let's see some of the larger ones here. Let's take a look at this guy right here. Wow, look at that guy. He is chock full of, looks kind of like molten lava or some sort. And what is he? Yep, of course, Meta Guardian. So he's going to be painted up kind of a lava color. That's really neat. And let's see what we have, a scorpion here. You can see that scorpion. But anyway, you get a good idea of all the different miniatures in there. This is a succubus. Yep, succubus right there. She's a little cockeyed. Oh, look at the base is a little, let's see if I can get it on camera. The base is a little warped a bit. So that's something that we would want to heat up in water and try to melt back into place or form back into place there. And kind of the same for this guy here. He is the Master Efreet. Same thing. Really nice looking, coming out of some flames, if you will, but the base is kind of bent up on that one a little bit. Doesn't look like it stands. So that's something we'll have to take a look at later. Okay, we'll move on to the next box called the Dark Tales, and I'll put these guys off to the side. And doesn't look like there's anything here, of course, because these would be the creatures from the first expansion that came with the game. So here, just a picture of the vacuum pack. And let's take a look at this vacuum pack. It's actually not too bad. Wish it were a little bit thicker, but it actually is a decent thickness to it. Though sometimes you get these inserts and they're just really flimsy. But this one seems a little bit better, and I just like the fact that they give you this picture here of show you how guys all get placed in your crates. So that's really nice. I'm glad that they do that. I wish more companies did that with their games. And then finally, I don't expect anything in this last tray here, the core, but let's see just in case. Nope, same thing. I kind of figured. Didn't get anything special, just another vacuum tray here showing how all the miniatures would be laid out. So that was a much quicker unboxing video than the first one, but you get the idea. This is the creature crate, and this holds all the miniatures, that is creatures again for Folklore the Affliction. Alright, as I was putting this away, I decided I want to come back and shoot a couple extra minutes here. I don't think I gave enough attention to the miniatures of Fall of the Dark Spire, so I wanted to come back and show off a little bit more of these in detail. I won't go over all of them, but we're going to bring attention to a couple of them here. Anyway, as you can see, the top 6 ones here, these gray minis, these are our 6 new characters that we can take on for the game. There's 3 males and 3 females. And starting over here, I believe this is the Druidus. It's kind of got a little bit of an African look to her. She's got these dreadlocks and this spear. Kind of a neat little cloak that she's wearing. And next up, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but the Pugilist, I think. He's our little boxer guy. Bare-chested, and he's just got his vest. He's got suspenders hanging around his thighs. He's got a bowling hat on there and his handlebar mustache. And it looks like just looking to pick a fight with somebody here. Next up is our the Huntress, another female character holding 2 weapons. She's got like a little curved dagger, if you will. Some ornate works on her scroll, so a lot of detail there. Looks though this will have to be heated up a little bit and kind of like reformed back into place. That's got a little bent up. But that's that Huntress character. Next up is our Arabian-looking Magus. He's got that pointed beard, the traditional headdress, Arabian headdress. I'm imagining him kind of in these very royal colors. Some deep purples, some golds, some blues, some maybe a royal blue or something like that. I think he's come out really nice, actually. Next up is we have our Viper Maiden. I imagine she's kind of an assassin. She is got her face half covered with a scarf. She's got that really huge compound bow, if you will. Looks like some handmade shin guards. That's going to be kind of a nice one to paint up. That one's really going to come together, I think. Next up is our Warlord. He kind of reminds me of someone from the era of the Crusades, Holy Crusades. He's got that, again, a lot of ornate work. I mean, look at the detail there. Hopefully this will focus. Maybe I'll bring it down just a little bit. A lot of detail on his shins, if you will, and a lot of this armor plating right around his waist there. Okay, next up, let's talk about some of our other NPC characters. Looks like we have the Anatomist here, kind of our evil scientist, if you will, or surgeon. He's got a bunch of surgical instruments on his chest right there. And he's got an apron. He's holding in his right hand a surgical saw. In his left hand, he's holding a skull that seems to be dripping with something. That's pretty cool. Next up is our Guildmaster, a very barrel-shaped, hardy, stout chest man here, wearing some, looks like kind of a ornate kind of robe of some sort there, but look at a stocky gentleman he's not going to be pushed around. And here's one that I'm really drawn to. This is the Plague Doctor. Again, very reminiscent of Italian Renaissance doctors, especially that mask. I mean, how could you go wrong with that? I imagine this one all painted up really dark. A lot of the features really dark. Maybe you've got a white skull there. We have a little emblem around his neck with a pentagram. We have his little doctor's kit on the back, or some kind of kit with some poultices hanging around his waist. But I think that one's going to be a fun one. Let's see what else. Okay, we can look at the satyr here, or satyr. Half goat, half human, or half man, playing his pan flute. And he's leaning up against a rocky column with some really deep runes that are kind of engraved in there. That's pretty neat. Let's see. Look at the genie, or djinn, if you will. Kind of ethereal bottom here, kind of coming up from the mist or smoke, his body forming up, and he's got this really cool sculpted ponytail, and looks like he's going to cast some kind of spell or fireball or some other magic that he's holding in his hand. Big bright earrings, if you will. Kind of got those really deep, got that goatee and some pretty evil looking eyebrows right there. I don't know if that picks up or not, but that's the djinn. We have our flesh construct. Maybe our anatomist built him. It's got 4 arms and a lot of bolts and stitches, kind of their version of Frankenstein, if you will, for the game. And let's see, I like the sea prints. I think this one is really going to be neat to paint. We have this big triton, if you will, or some kind of like what do you call it, staff that he's holding. But what's really neat is these on the side, if you can see, those are 2 seahorses that are on either side of that blade right there. And I think it's going to be really fun to paint up. I'm imagining a kind of deep blue color for the body, so maybe some bright turquoise for the fins, maybe even some coral color for these little wings that are coming out. He's got some bracers and a chest plate. I imagine that would be painted gold, and maybe we have a jewel in the middle. I think if we paint this, sand, some kind of a sand color to it, or kind of textured terrain, I think this one is really going to pop and stand out on the table when that one's all done up. And let's see, let's look at one more. Okay, how about this Necromancer? This is another one on a big base. There's actually 2 people here. One, he's got a skull face, and he's reading a ritual from the book, And if you can see on the book itself, there are skulls on the back of this book. Really awesome detail there. And it looks like he's bringing to life this mummy or previously dead person. It's wrapped up bandages, and he's coming out of the ground or out of this like smoke. Yeah, it's just a really nice one there. And let's see, I think I might have shown this one earlier, but here's a little scorpion here. Got a couple of those. There's actually 3 of those. And we have 4 of these cutthroats. I would imagine these are minions of some sort. But anyway, that was just a closer look at the miniatures of Fall of Dark Spire. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video again. If so, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section below. Give me a critique, and I can guarantee you there's a lot of painting to do here. I'm probably going to spend a lot of time using contrast paints on some of these other ones here, just to set like these oozes and maybe the crocodile and stuff like that. Probably maybe this monster. That'll be excuse me, good use of that. But until next time, I'm Jason for Pips-N-Chits, and I'll see you again.